Aurelune was not where my life began. It was where the part of me that survived was taught how to keep breathing. The Hakuji called it refuge. They were not wrong, but refuge is not the same as home, and rescue is not the same as being returned to the people who loved you. The warning came before I understood what I was seeing. The Hakuji called them kubi. The hollow crown was not built only to destroy. Destruction was too simple for them. They wanted a world to feel itself becoming empty before the end arrived. No one told me I was losing another home. They did not need to. The kubi did not arrive like storms. Storms do not study where children sleep, where medicine is stored, or where frightened people run. The kubi watched first, then through the hollow crown, they made despair feel planned and inevitable before the first wall fell. Milwaukee did not become history all at once. It began as a city by the lake. Then the sky opened. After that, the world learned to say Milwaukee differently. At the time, no one knew what it was. The reports kept changing. It had fallen from orbit. It had come out of the lake. It had stopped moving. It was contained. That word made the adults feel safe. The first time I saw the Scout, I was watching television. I remember the room, the table near the window, my sister's jacket on the chair. On the screen, soldiers surrounded something black. A machine with long legs, folded armor, and a purple core deep inside its body. Earth thought the machine was defeated. That was the mistake. When the containment force fired on it, its core began to collapse. Before it failed, it transmitted. The signal went out from Milwaukee, through the clouds, past the moon, and into the dark where the hollow crown was listening. They would call it the Milwaukee incineration, a clean phrase for something that was not clean. I cannot give you every part of that day. Trauma does not keep perfect records. It keeps heat. It keeps sound without source. It keeps the last ordinary thing you wanted before the world became impossible. I was not saved because anyone knew my name. The Hakuji followed the Kubi trail to Earth. They came looking for what had fallen from the sky, what had turned Milwaukee into a word people spoke with lowered voices. Orison found me first. He kept searching through a city that no longer answered him. He had already lost my parents. He believed he had lost Mio. Still, he kept looking. It was his signal the Hakuji found in the ash. That was how they found me. Not chosen, not rescued by fate. Found because someone who thought he had failed us refused to stop. The Hakuji did not understand Earth at first. They understood signals, residue, and the wound the Kubi had left behind. Earth was a noise to them. Broadcasts, satellites, weather, grief. Orison cut through it because his search had one purpose. A family had been lost in ash. He would not let ash be the final answer. The Hakuji healed what Earth had not been given time to heal. The disease that had taken my dark hair was quieted. My body remained my own, human, breathing, mine. But the white stayed. At first, I hated that. I thought it meant the wound had won. For a while, Aurelune gave me the shape of peace. A room where no one screamed. A morning that did not arrive covered in ash. A guardian beside my door who never asked me to explain why I woke afraid. But peace is not forgetting. Every gentle day still had Mio's absence at the center of it. Orison was offered his own kind of healing. The Hakuji could give him a body beyond anything Earth had made. Stronger, cleaner, closer to their porcelain world. He accepted because he believed protection was the only answer left to guilt. But Orison was not my shadow. He was a soul beside mine. When Orison accepted the Hakuji body, he did not become someone else. The black armor gave way to white porcelain, gold seams, and sacred silence. But inside was still the one who searched the ash, mourned Mio, and remembered my parents. The new body was not escape. It was a vow given weight, shaped around remorse. I felt the danger before I understood it. The air changed first, not colder, thinner, like the world had taken a breath and forgotten how to release it. That was what Milwaukee had left in me, a body that could hear catastrophe before language caught up. Aurelune was bright and high. The Kubi did not need beauty to spare it. When war found Aurelune, I understood Milwaukee differently. As a child, I had believed disaster belonged to a place, a city, a street, a single morning that could never happen again, because nothing that terrible should be allowed to repeat itself. The Kubi taught me otherwise. They did not carry destruction as an accident. They carried it as a method. World after world, they made the same promise. That beauty could be emptied, that sanctuary could be reached, that every living thing could be made to understand how temporary safety was. The Hakuji had given me refuge, but refuge had also given me a place to lose. That was the part no one could protect me from. Milwaukee had not ended. It had become a language the hollow crown knew how to speak anywhere. Before the war made us symbols, Mio and I were only sisters. Twins, born between my father's Milwaukee and my mother's Japan. Close enough that people looked at us and thought they understood us before we spoke. Mio was the brave one. The Kubi understood sanctuary as an insult. A garden meant something could grow without permission. A temple meant stillness might outlast fear. A home meant love had drawn a border. Through the hollow crown, the Kubi made those borders feel temporary. They attacked tomorrow before it could gather strength. The Kubi did not destroy because they were lost, frightened, or desperate. They destroyed because repetition was their doctrine. One world made afraid, then another, until terror stopped feeling like an event and began to feel like weather. Mio never made me feel broken. That was her gift, maybe her burden. She could stand beside me so fiercely that I almost believed the world would have to behave itself. Our parents tried to make life ordinary around the fear. Meals, homework, small errands, the careful lie that tomorrow would be shaped like today. I learned to study mirrors as if they were enemies with evidence. The bathroom light was too honest. The comb found what my fingers tried to ignore, a few pale strands, then more. Then pretending became exhausting. Mio never looked away. She watched the world instead, measuring what might hurt me first. When my hair began to change, I thought I had done something wrong. The dark strands left first, as if my own body had chosen to separate me from the person I loved most. Mio's protection began before she had power. She could not cure me. She could not command adults to fix what frightened them. So she placed herself closer, at school, on sidewalks, in rooms where voices changed when I entered. She made her body a small wall between me and the world. The doctors called it alopecia. Adults are good at giving a name to fear and then pretending the name has made it smaller. My parents brought home medicine they rubbed into my scalp with more tenderness than confidence. They told me it might help the dark hair return. That was all I wanted. Mio survived in the city the rest of the world learned to speak of in the past tense. That was another cruelty. Milwaukee was gone when people wanted a symbol. It was still there when they wanted access, water, land, ports, power, and profit. Mio learned that lesson young. She was not a lost girl in the way stories like to make children lost. Mio did not become cruel. She became difficult to move. She listened. She remembered who lied. She learned which rules protected people and which rules protected the people who had already taken enough. I was the absence she carried, not a memory she could bury, not a death she could prove, not a wound anyone else had the right to close for her. Every answer she found opened into another question. Every failed record became another reason to keep looking. Mio followed the pattern because patterns can be interrogated. A grave gives you only an ending. A pattern gives you direction. When the warning reached Earth, Mio did not hear her sister in it. How could she? I had sent it into the dark without knowing who was left to listen. I thought Mio was dead. She thought I was dead. Between us stood a lifetime of wrong graves. Years did not soften Mio. They sharpened her, not into cruelty. Never that. Cruelty wastes energy, and Mio had learned to waste nothing. She read locked files. She followed missing records. She listened when broken systems made sounds they were not supposed to make. To her, the message was not a reunion. It was a fracture in the story everyone had forced her to accept. Proof that the war was not finished. Proof that Milwaukee had not told its last secret. There is grief in believing your loss is singular. There is another grief in learning it was part of a pattern. Every trace led outward. Every answer demanded a greater risk. Every piece of the Kubi trail carried her farther from the ruined city. and closer to a truth neither of us was ready to understand. Mio did not leave Earth to become a hero. She left because love had become a question. That was the cruelty of the Kubi method. They did not need every world to fall at once. They needed each world to understand that another had already fallen. That help had arrived too late. That resistance might only teach the hollow crown where to press harder. Every trace of the hollow crown carried the same question back to her. Why here? Why again? Why did the war keep circling the places where my name should have been buried? She did not know she was following me. Not yet. I used to think hope was gentle. Mio taught me otherwise. Hope can be relentless. It can be suspicious. It can break rules, burn through lies, and refuse every official mercy offered in exchange for silence. On that front, she was not fighting for a flag. She was fighting the story given to her. But fear had misunderstood us. It had misunderstood Mio most of all. She had been raised inside the ruins fear left behind. She knew its architecture. She knew its bargains. She knew how often it disguised obedience as safety. The hollow crown did not only kill, it arranged grief. It turned worlds into examples. It made survivors carry warnings inside their bodies. And then it followed those warnings home. The Hakuji had saved me before I understood what rescue would ask in return. For years, I lived beneath their protection and mistook gratitude for peace. But the Kubi had found the path between wounds. Milwaukee had led to Aurelune. Aurelune pointed back toward Earth. That was why I sent the warning. Not to Mio. I did not know she was alive. I did not know her hands would touch the message before any commander understood what it meant. I sent it because Earth was still the place where my first life had lived. No world should meet the hollow crown without knowing that other worlds had already bled beneath it. The Hakuji called themselves guardians. I had been guarded long enough to know the word was not a title. It was a debt. And debts do not stay clean when the war returns to where you were born. They had followed the same trail back to the same fragile world. This time, Earth was not only a witness to catastrophe. Earth was the next offering beneath the hollow crown. And somewhere inside that war, Mio was still following the message, still following the trail, still refusing the version of history handed to her. The Earth Defense Fleet had courage. Courage was not the same as equality. Humanity had built weapons for enemies it could imagine. Nations, machines, missiles. The Kubi belonged to a terror Earth had no language for yet. Mio did not leave Earth because she believed in destiny. She left because every smaller answer had failed. Love had become a direction no map could hold. So she followed it past official permission, past familiar grief. She was not trying to become larger than herself. She was trying to reach where the lie finally broke. The hollow crown understood conquest. It understood terror. It understood how to make a world feel alone before it broke. But it did not understand what remains when the lonely find each other again. It did not understand that loss can become a map. It did not understand Mio. From a distance, Earth looked almost whole. That was the cruelty of distance. It could hide Milwaukee. It could hide the abandoned zones, the fenced shore, the people who had learned to live beside a wound powerful nations preferred to call contained. But the Kubi did not mistake distance for mercy. The closer we came to Milwaukee, the less the war felt like a line. It felt like a circle tightening. Earth, Aurelune, the ocean front, the ruined shore. Every place the hollow crown had touched was pulling us toward the place where the first break had never healed. I used to think the opposite of loss was return. I was wrong. Return is only geography. It can bring the body back to the place where grief began, but it cannot make time reverse. It cannot give parents another morning. It cannot make a child unlearn the sound of adults trying not to cry. What Mio and I were moving toward was not return. It was recognition. The terrible, impossible recognition that the dead had not all stayed dead, that the missing had not all stayed missing, that the story Milwaukee told us had never been complete. Broken things do not always wait to be repaired. Sometimes they move. Sometimes they cross the distance. Sometimes they find the other half of themselves in the place everyone said nothing could live. The hollow crown had mistaken brokenness for surrender. It had never understood what survival makes possible. Humanity prepared for enemies shaped like human memory, borders, weapons, commands, machines, the old habit of nation against nation. But the Kubi did not fit those fears. They were doctrine with engines, cruelty with patience, a war that entered the mind before it entered the sky. The fleet was brave. War teaches forward motion, advance, respond, intercept, survive the next hour. But memory has its own gravity. The farther Mio followed the evidence, the more the path bent backward. She thought she was closing on the enemy. She was also closing on the beginning. From above, Earth still knew how to look innocent. Clouds softened the damage. Oceans hid borders drawn around sorrow. Cities glimmered as if light proved they were whole. But distance is a poor witness. It cannot hear families kept from fenced ground. It cannot smell ash beneath new construction. The battle over Earth was not only a battle for a planet. It was a battle over what the Kubi believed every wound should become. A border, a silence, a grave no one crossed. Mio crossed anyway. The Hakuji crossed anyway. Orison crossed because he had never stopped keeping watch. Return is not repair. A place can receive your body and still refuse your childhood. The street can remain. The lake can remain. The air can feel the same. But the person who belonged there without fear may be gone. Going back to Milwaukee could not give me before. It could only ask what I would do with after. The battle over Earth pulled hidden trajectories into the open. Fleets rose. Beneath the scale of war, smaller paths were converging. Mio's search, Orison's guilt. My warning, the Kubi had scattered us through loss. Now the broken roots bent back toward contact. I had learned the language of guardians. Mio had learned the language of ruins. Neither language was complete. Mine knew refuge and debt. Hers knew locked gates and missing records. The Kubi had trusted those languages to keep us apart. But grief can translate what distance cannot. We were reading the same wound. Brokenness is not stillness. That was the mistake the Kubi made. They thought a wound would hold people where it left them. They thought ash would become a border. They thought grief would teach obedience. But broken things move. They slip through systems built to contain them. Then they cross back. Earth was not convenient. It was fragile, divided, still arguing over ruins it did not understand. But it was the first place that held my name. The first place where Mio and I had belonged to the same room. I sent the warning because origin is not only memory. It is obligation. It is the place that still has a claim. Recognition is more frightening than hope. Hope can stay distant. It can be imagined safely, softened by all the ways it might never arrive. Recognition stands in front of you. It breathes. If Mio was alive, then my mourning had been wrong. If I was alive, then hers had been wrong too. The old grief had to change shape. The Kubi returned because unfinished wounds are doors. They knew where Earth had already been opened. They knew which governments hid fear behind control. They knew which survivors carried warnings too late. Through the hollow crown, they followed weakness like a road. They mistook weakness for readiness to break. Mio did not know I had sent the warning. She did not know I was alive. She did not know that every choice carrying her toward the enemy was also carrying her toward me. That is how reunion began for us, not with certainty, not with hope, with danger. Two sisters moved through the same war from opposite sides of a lie neither of us had chosen. I moved with the Kintsugi. Mio moved through the ruins of everything Earth had hidden. Between us, the hollow crown believed fear would finish what fire had begun. That is why the Kintsugi came. As guardians, not conquerors, not to claim Earth, to keep it from becoming another name people whispered after the future had already been taken. The sky above Earth filled with ships, and beneath them, every unfinished grief began moving toward the same point. The Kintsugi came with power, but power was not the point. They knew protectors could become rulers when fear made obedience easy. So they entered Earth's sky with restraint, not to claim the wounded world, not to replace one terror with another authority. They came because the Kintsugi had made Earth part of their war. No prophecy chose us. No hidden design made suffering noble. I survived because Orison kept searching. Mio survived because she refused to surrender. Orison endured because guilt became a duty he could answer. Chosen stories make pain sound clean. Ours was not clean. It was stubborn bodies, broken records, and love still moving. Every war teaches its soldiers to look outward, toward the enemy, toward the place where danger is still arriving. Mio followed that lesson until it betrayed her. The trail did not lead away from grief. It curved back through everything she had tried to survive. The Kintsugi understood survivors as instruments. A survivor carries fear farther than fire can travel. A survivor tells the next world what happened to the last one. Through the hollow crown, the Kintsugi turned warning into bait. They let grief call across distance. Then they followed the call home. The war no longer felt like separate battles. It felt like one history arriving in pieces. Aurelune, Earth, the ocean front, the moon wreck, Milwaukee's ruined shore. Each place held a fragment the others explained. The Kintsugi had trusted distance to keep them apart. Survivors compare what authorities isolate. The trail curved downward, past wreckage, past fire, past the false comfort of distance, back to Lake Michigan, back to Ground Zero, back to the city where a child had wanted her hair to grow dark again, and another child had learned to survive by refusing the world's easiest lie. She did not know that the white guardian waiting in the ruins had once been the black protector who searched for me through the ash. And Orison, who had believed Mio was gone, did not yet know the family he had mourned was walking back toward him. But Orison knew her, not at first by certainty, by ache. The shape of a family does not disappear because time changes its bodies. Sometimes it waits in the space between names until one voice is brave enough to say what the heart already knows. The child he had mourned had crossed the ash back to us. The sister I had buried in my heart was standing in the place where the world said nothing could return. Milwaukee did not give us back what it took, but at Ground Zero beside Lake Michigan, it stopped being only the place where our family ended. We could not rebuild Milwaukee by standing in it. We could not make the ash confess what it had taken. We could not make the lake return the morning before the sky opened. For years, Mio had carried that city alone. For years, I had carried it from another world. Neither of us had remembered it completely, but each of us had guarded a piece the other could not hold. That was the first repair. Not the city, not the past. Only the terrible, necessary mercy of no longer being alone with it. I told Mio what Aurelune had been to me, before it became a world on anyone's map. A child's name from a bedtime story, a golden moon, a place bright enough to believe in when earth had become unbearable. She listened the way she had survived, carefully, fiercely. People think reunion is an ending because stories are kinder than life. Reunion is only the moment the locked door opens. After that comes the room, all the years inside it, all the questions, all the names we were afraid to say, all the ways love must learn the shape of what time has changed. After reunion came the harder work, telling the years. The Hakuji could chart the distance between stars. They could name the paths light took through darkness. But there is no instrument for the distance between sisters who spent their lives mourning each other. It was no longer only the place that had taken me away. It became the first place where both of my lives could touch. Mio did not belong to Aurelune the way I did. She carried earth in her posture, Milwaukee in her silences, the long habit of someone prepared to leave every room. Mio and I had found each other. Now we had to learn how to remain. Aurelune had been the world that kept me alive and kept me from Mio. I had loved it and resented it in the same breath. But when she finally stood beneath that sky, Aurelune changed. No body returns unchanged from that much time. No sister waits unchanged through that much grief. Mio knew me before she understood what the years had done to us. I knew her before I could forgive myself for surviving. And Orison, silent with us, carried his own impossible recognition. Some silences stayed with us. They had earned their place. Stars have coordinates. Grief does not. But in that room, for the first time, our missing years stopped being walls. They became doors we could open together. They called it Kintsugi. But for us, the break was not porcelain. It was blood, memory, and time. What survived was different, not untouched, not unbroken, still ours. After everything the Kubi tried to hollow from us, we remained together.